Okay, let's move on to the second question. My granddaughter, who is 7 in second grade, has SM and does not verbally speak at school. Any suggestions? I know
Yeah,
there's
that's a
a
loaded
lot of ways you can go with that.
Yeah, I would say that in order to keep this somewhat short, that's a loaded question. If you went to your doctor and said, "I have a fever," your doctor wouldn't say, "Do 1, 2, and 3. See you later. Goodbye." They would say, "Wait, why do you have a fever?" So for me, when I hear someone isn't speaking in school, my mind opens up to, well, why are they not speaking in school? Do they have any of the whys of SM? And we have podcasts that go over the whys, the common whys of SM. And what are their baseline stages of social communication based on the social communication bridge with peers, with teachers, in small groups, large groups, and so forth? So knowing the whys and knowing their baseline stages gives us an avenue to begin the treatment process or developing school-based accommodations and interventions, and do they need more formal 504 or IEP and so forth. So that's a very loaded question. I don't know why your granddaughter is not speaking in school. I would say the most typical presentation is a more timid, sensory sensitive individual that is somewhat overwhelmed and shuts down, and that behavior becomes more learned and conditioned. And then implementing the comfort precedes communication, and progress doesn't happen in a group. Therefore, we need to build comfort, connection, and do interventions or implement strategies away from the group through the buddy process, get togethers outside of school, small groups in the room, small groups out of the room, a lot of parent education, a lot of teacher education. So, as you can hear, Brandon, I don't have one way to get your kid to speak in school. I have to understand them. At the Smart Center, we do something called the selective mutism evaluation. It's about a 90-minute interview. We assess various forms that you submit from the school and the parents, and we evaluate the child in terms of their what are they screening for in
Can you
terms of
do that
factors.
virtually?
Yeah, well, so that's what I wanted to say is that we screen for the factors into the development of selective mutism and why it also may be continuing. We call that the whys, and we also assess for their baseline stages of social communication. The selective mutism evaluation is done in states that we are licensed, and we're licensed in multiple states. An individual can figure that out by going to selectivemutismcenter.org and seeing the states that we have telehealth, or of course in person. For states that we are not licensed, we do something called the selective mutism interview, which is more of an interview to kind of get an understanding from a non-diagnose. We can't diagnose in those states, but we can tell you that based on what you're presenting to us, this is what it seems. We can't work with the children in states we're not licensed. We work more with the parents. But in states
Mhm.
we're licensed, we can do the full evaluation. And then a full written report is provided to those families, and they can share
Mhm.
that with the school. And that's what's needed for treatment, whether it's group treatment, it's communicamp, or individual treatment through intensives and so forth, jump starts. And so, in other words, we need to understand the individual. So, when I get this question of why is my granddaughter not talking, they need some sort of an evaluation by a licensed professional who can assess the factors into why somebody may not be speaking, and then what are their baseline stages of social communication.
All right, awesome.